What's up, guys? It's your boy GRC. This is Crypto in the Morning. How is everybody doing? Let's get to the comments. Super Sin. Hello, Hex fam. Louis Sipper 369. Sup, y'all? Happy Father's Day. Happy Sunday. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, guys. Of course. Of course. Hex Ed, Hex Logic, Crypto Compassion, Lael Height, and we're live. What's good, everybody? Good morning, everybody. Wow, what a beautiful Sunday. Sam, have you learned about the team and the base token yet? I think I'm going to do 20 minutes on that. Sam's going to do 20 minutes on PulsePot. We're going to talk about the markets. What do I think's going on? What does he think's going on? And then we're going to talk about the shows this week because we have crazy shows this week. The only reason I'm going to be showing the Maximus and the team and the base stuff is so me and Sam have prior knowledge before Dip Catcher and Gold Key come, or whoever's coming on. So we have the baseline so we can get a little more because it's not complicated, but I need Sam to be able to tell me if this is extremely profitable. Because Sam, if you probably don't remember as intimately because maybe you weren't doing the transactions, but I remember minting my Hex one for one for Maximus token. And everyone, no one really knew what to think about it. $50 million USD. It's a lot. It's at a 1.7 premium and it's sticking like glue. I mean, that's called free money where I'm from. Guys, and now let's add a 1-year perpetual stake with it. At the end, you can decide to let it go again, Sam, or to cash out your funds for that year where you get the overall APY of the entire thing, much larger than you would be able to do on your own. Guys, these derivative plays that are locked, immutable, are interesting. Very interesting. If you think about immutable code in Hex, how great that's been, think about immutable derivatives product on Hex and with the team behind it that we know, blah, 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 blah. We'll show some of that. Guys, liquid loan. Will you guys do a liquid loans video? I had that epiphany about Pulse Chain and liquid loans yesterday, and I'm totally in. Wow, that's interesting. Yes, we have done a liquid loans episode. Tomorrow we'll probably touch on liquid loans because we're having Jesse on. But really what we're talking about tomorrow is Power City. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about Power City with the Power City boys and Jesse, who is a Power City boy. So that's going to be really, really interesting. All that, guys. I'm going to be back right after this video. Smash that like right now. Please, please, please. It's Sunday, fun day. Smash the like. Share this out. Let the people know if you enjoy this content. I haven't shared this on Twitter yet. I don't even know if I'm going to, but I might. And maybe I'll share that link. Guys, get your coffee ready. It's Crypto in the Morning. We're going into a few different topics today, and we're getting prepared for a big week of heavy hitters.
You already know what time it is.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Smoking a blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hacks and I'm making a stay. Got me some heads on, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that's just in case. Jim Reddit sent me to show you the way.
D5 Pro. Yeah.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
I forgot to fill my water, so give the people a little what's up, Sam.
Good morning, everybody. Great to see you guys. Happy Father's Day to any men out there who have children or who have had children. Let me mute him. Appreciate you guys. Anybody who is a father out there who is standing up to be the leader in their family. Respect is awesome. I talked to my father this morning, actually twice. He called me afterwards. We talk about business a lot, so it's good to catch up on things, and had some ideas around structuring my debt differently for one of my businesses. So that was super interesting. I hope everybody is having an amazing or creating an amazing Sunday. We got some awesome stuff planned for this week, but even today, what we talked about with GRC's Manic Monologue, we're going to be talking about what is up with Gold Key and Dip Catcher's new projects. 2 new projects, right? We already saw how awesome Maxi is. Now we've got 2 new projects. Are they good? Are they bad? I don't know. I haven't checked them out. But if you use the track record of what Gold Key and Dip Catcher have done in the past as a proxy, we've talked to both of them. Well, we haven't talked to Gold Key on the show, but I've talked to him in messages, and I've talked to Dip Catcher on here multiple times. If you use their past as a proxy for what they might be doing with this new projects, I would think they were probably going to be awesome. Another thing we're going to actually be talking about a little bit later is Pulse Dot. Pulse Dot. Gambling worthwhile, the token worthwhile, super interesting in several different ways. But
Is
there
the
are
token
some
relying
concerns.
on the gambling, or are they just kind of separate features using the money?
Separate features, but you can earn different types of tokens in there. I had some concerns about it, but every single thing that comes out, I have some concerns about, or just
Well, there's
you know.
there's generally concerns to be had, so I would say that's right up the alley. I'm going to.
Did you talk to your dad? You talked to your dad this morning?
They're actually all coming here today to my house, so I
Nice.
got to hide all the drugs, and that's like a full-time job. So, so that I gotta do all that. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, people are coming to my house, and I am. They're coming to GRC's crib. You know. So
You gonna make dinner for everybody?
yeah, I'm gonna make steaks and chicken thighs. So I'm gonna be grilling, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully some drinks will proceed afterwards because God knows. I already went to the gym this morning, so I was curling 50s today, like it was fucking nothing. So that was interesting.
Oh, nice.
No, I was having a good time at the gym this morning. It was very relaxed. Nobody in there. Everyone wants an excuse not to get in there. Father's Day of all excuses. Nobody there. Like, and there's usually like full heads. So stupid. So I'm gonna pull this up first because I need one. This is happening very soon, and we want to be in a position where maybe we can make some plays on this because this is just like current news. Like he said, there's gonna be plenty of time to think about it, but you want to get your mind around it because you know how much nuance there is. Like if you don't think you know what's going on, you're just gonna ignore it probably because
And a lot of the times when you first cover something, you don't fully grasp it until you cover it a second or third time because there, like you mentioned, there's nuances around all of this stuff. And to fully understand it, you need to understand these nuances because otherwise you're just not going to grasp what is going on. I'm excited to see what they're launching. It looks like a little YouTube video.
It's 2 things. So there's 2 things they're launching. There's 2 separate code structures they're launching here. So let's talk about the first one will be Maximus Base. Well, that's the one we're talking about at this moment.
Up to this point here, I think maximum base, and of course had a bit of a more detailed base will launch with a mint phase like Maxi, where anyone can mint 1 base per 1 hex pledged to the base smart contract. After mint phase, all the hex used to mint is staked for 1 year, which is pretty cool. When the stake ends, the hex and hedron are returned to the base treasury, and the redemption phase and new mint phase begins. It just keeps recycling through on an annual basis. Base holders can either redeem their portion of their hex after the 12 months and hedron from the base treasury by burning their base tokens or stay in the pool.
Whoa,
Sam, this is not. You don't need Maxi to participate in this. So just for everyone to know, if you don't have Maximus, this is not what it's saying here. It says 1 hex per 1 base. So they're doing separate hex direct derivative. 1 year perpetual rolling stakes. So where was the first business model was a 15-year ginormous stake. They said, let's switch it up to have another use case derivative. It's a separate use case. It's a different time structure. You can take your money out in a year. That changes everything. So
And
what do you think about that?
the other idea, so right. So we're brand new to this, but already there's one thing that I guarantee nobody's thinking about, and then we're going to get into the liquidity piece. But what happens to people over time with their keys and their life? Shit happens, and they lose their keys, and they lose access to their funds, or their funds are stolen. So you're going to see this base contract accrue value with each additional year that is not going to be priced in at the beginning, because people are not going to be using the function of gray matter to see this. Say you have 5,000 people that are like, hey, I want to be a part of this 1-for-1 mint of base, so that I can transfer in and out whenever I want. If Hex has a run up halfway through the year and I want to access my capital, you get liquidity. But what is not going to be priced in is that there's going to be people, that 5,000 people, even if there's a small percentage of those people, 50 people, say out of the 5,000, that's 1%, who lose access to their money or something like that, forget about it, or something. They move, their house gets destroyed, they get robbed, and their seed phrases get destroyed or lost. You're going to have people that just keep losing their keys every single year. So what does that mean for the base token? What does that mean for the base token? That base token means that is going to be continuing to accrue value in there over time. I don't know how that's going to exactly affect the price of this, if it represents the value of the treasury, but this is super interesting, dude. I'm glad you found this.
Yeah. So the cool part, it's just a lot of different variables to this, but it's also very simple. So it's not complicated, because you're always just going from that 1-to-1 mint phase. So it kind of breaks the complication, you know? Like, it's just a 1-to-1 mint phase from Hex. What happens after that? A 1-year perpetual rolling stake, where some people will extract their funds and others will not. And that's what Sam was getting at. Others will not. There will be added value to the other stakes that you don't know about necessarily the exact amount. Could be just ridiculous amount. Pretty sure like 1% of Maxi is getting traded, and I was like calling that the whole time. Like, I was like, no one's going to trade their Maxi right now. It doesn't make much sense, because no one knows, like some people are going to trade it, but
it's still a 70% premium in what, a month and a half?
And people aren't trading it. A 70% premium, and they don't want to bring it down to 1.1 like Hex Tangent. Why? Because there is more value. There is more value. There actually is, because of the security piece. For some people, that's value. The transactability piece, for some people, that's emotional value, which is fine. Which all value is the same, it's all something.
Liquidity piece, the liquidity
piece, exactly.
So what happens if the price of Hex has a 10x in the course of 1 year, and you're like, oh, fuck, I just broke my leg and I need 10 grand to pay for this? You can go through and you could sell your base. Assuming that there's going to be some liquidity. It might only be 1%, but you can sell your base at that higher value in the marketplace to extract it. So that has value too. Like you were just saying, there's multiple pieces of value layered on together, wrapped into a 1-for-1. So base is going to we'll call it here now. You guys heard it here first. I'm assuming nobody else has talked about this yet, but base will always be trading at a premium. If it's not, you have an opportunity there to make money. But here's the thing. Let's get back into this so we can understand all the other pieces of this before we actually pontificate more about this token.
Hold on, I just want to answer before.
I
don't know why I answer in the chat sometimes, but I could just say it.
Could be. I don't want to be too early on this.
No, you don't want to arb it. It's too low right now. I think people are scared because if Sam arbs it, or if anyone arbs this and it drops 99%, they're going to be pissed that they didn't sit in USDC and wait. What do I say all the time, Sam? Wait. Because I won't. If I have 10 grand in no crypto, I don't know where Sam just went, but if I have 10 grand in no crypto, like if I used all my 10 grand right now to buy at 3 cents and it dropped 99%, I would be extremely upset. I tell Sam that all the time. I say, would I be more upset if I bought all my USD's worth of Hex right now, had a great rate, moved forward to the future in a good spot, or if I had 7 times more than that? I would like to have 7 times more because I was paying attention anyway, and I already have hex stakes. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm going to miss the boat. So it's just you just want to have money because it's so volatile. The people that make it in crypto and really crush it, they always have $1,000, $2,000, something they can put in at all times. There's never a time where they couldn't put in fiat. And I've always been the same way. I've always put enough in there where I could do 1 more buy or 2 more buys. Like whether that's $100, $300, or $700.
And I think that continues to grow as your bag continues to grow. You might say that having 1,000 or 2,000, maybe it's 4,000 as you get bigger bags, or 16 or 40 grand or 80 grand, right? We've had people
100x on $100,000 is a lot better than 100x on 1K.
Yes.
We always bring up that how does the losing their keys add value thing. And I say it fucking all the time. It's so clear to me. If 1,000 people lose $100,000 and they're very upset about it, there's a value prop thing missing. Right, Sam? If you just have lots of people that are losing money for a million different reasons, people could say whatever they want. But Sam doesn't necessarily, if Sam's not super active in crypto and hasn't been on this show and stuff, he gets a free airdrop for whatever token and he clicks on it and his whole account's liquidated. Is it great that all his stakes are on that account? Is it great that they're locked in for 15 years? No, 0%. No, never. You wish you could move it. You wish you could make a move. You wish you could change your situation, but you can't because you're locked into a smart contract. That's not horrible, but you need to be 100% certain about what you're doing, and nobody is. That's all I'm saying. In a perfect world, when everyone's Richard Hart, Sam Stolt, and myself, and we all are very just trying to pay attention as hard as we could, Hex is the best. But we have Fortnite users. We have Fortnite users here.
And it's the transferability of that thing is tremendous because, right? Like for you guys who are not aware, GRC was hacked, a couple months ago, 6 weeks ago, or 8 weeks ago, or something, and they stole all the liquid that he had in his account, and then they did an emergency end stake on his stakes
like 4 months later.
After they already gained access.
And I sat there the whole 4 months like, I'm going to get robbed. I'm going to get robbed. I'm going to get robbed. I know I'm going to get robbed. And then I got robbed.
And this account has 100 million plus. 100 million plus. They're just out there.
I think that's important to reiterate. The account that did hack me had 150 million hex in it at the moment. And I didn't even dig that hard. That was the first account. So, and they had like fucking $700,000 in DAI. Like they were fucking stacked. And they're just stealing from everyone. They're doing what they can to steal from everyone. And they don't ask before, believe it or not. They don't ask. They don't send you a letter.
So, but on this, I may have been a little bit too optimistic. I understand it's valuable for the people who hold it because then they can transfer it like GRC was saying.
Would I rather onboard you to Maxi or Hex Stakes? I just couldn't say Hex Stakes right now. I just couldn't. And I'm not saying I wouldn't because Maxi can be complicated for people too. They might not want to go there. But like, if I had a brand new noob here and he had like $5,000, I'd be like, dude.
Here's a great question for you. Mm-hmm. Here's $10,000, and you are going to allocate that. How would you, or $100,000? Say
I would probably do 50,000 hex staking ladder and 50,000 maxi, and I'd keep all that. That's probably what I'd do right now, and that's only because the fork. And that's not what I would always do. When the fork happens, I want to have value so I can find value where other things are lacking. Not in like a ratio trading, like ignorant way. I'm not going to be like trying to, but I want to be patient and I want to have liquid money because I'm not there yet. And my stakes are all 11 years plus. I got lots of time. So that's my staking ladder. And I'm working more so on my liquid stack now because just at this moment, like, because the fork, movability, and I already have a lot of hex stakes in my opinion, depending on who you are, obviously, but you know what I mean? So it's just like, at this point, I'm ready to have a little bit more liquid hex. And then they came out with this thing Maxi that's just like liquid hex on crack. So I'm like, it's just perfect.
I wanted to ask you this, and I forgot to ask you this yesterday. Yesterday, we had David Feeder on, who is going to be probably the #1 validator for Pulse Chain. I do want to finish getting to this, but I just thought
we will. No, we will.
Okay.
I talk about Feeder all day.
David Feeder, awesome dude, freaking awesome dude, friendly. His story, amazing. The video got a little emotional, but
Perfect.
he mentioned multiple times in the video yesterday that he thinks, or it could be, over a year before Pulse Chain launches. And I know that's not a popular sentiment from people who want to talk about the shit. They're like, oh, in 2 weeks, next month, or 2 months from now. But what do you think about that? Because this dude has more experience than both of us combined in this ecosystem around our age, in crypto
Oh
in
God,
general.
when smart guys like that really fuck with this shit. I'm like,
Right? So what
my
did you think
God.
of that? He's like, maybe a year when Pulse launches.
Oh, I don't. Well, bottom of the bear market is kind of what he was getting at. Like anyone with a really deep intellectual understanding of how markets move, like when they start moving, it's not about each buy and sell. Anyone with a brain knows that if Hex shot to 56 cents right now, it wouldn't hold. It wouldn't. It would just sell back down immediately. Why would they want that extra volatility pressure when there could just be constant upward pressure or a little bit of lull, like maybe a month or so, and then constant bull market FU money pressure? Because what happens in markets, Sam? 4 years up, 1 year down.
Mm-hmm.
How far into this are we? 8 months down, 9 months down. We're 3 months away. This is how markets work. It's just because that's how long it takes people to accumulate funds again. It's just a product of the way things work. And waiting can be beneficial, but also he might understand that there's going to be lull time no matter what because of the sell pressure we were talking about yesterday. So doing it like now-ish might not be the worst, because all the people that are morons will sell all their bags. 3 months later, bull market's going on. Everyone who had strong faith will just be ready to go. And then the system might be a little stronger at the base because some of those people that didn't necessarily care so much can get weeded out because there's going to be free money on the table for sure.
What do you think if Pulse has 3 or 4 more delays, and now we're in January 2023, and then there's another delay, and then it's April of 2023?
Then my Hex bag will be so fat and my Ferrari is going to be vrooming because I'm just going to be T-sharing it up the whole time. Like it's just the T-shares have too much value. It doesn't matter if Pulse Chain does 100x in a week. Like T-shares go up forever. Like forever. And you can stake however long you'd like. That's the best part. I could stake all my Hex for a year, or I could stake it all for a month, or I could stake it all for 3 years. It doesn't make a difference what I do. It just makes a difference like how make sure I don't sell my shit. As long as you don't sell your shit, you buy more. That's the problem people have. Most people will put all their shit into USDC. They'll get lazy. They'll fuck around, and then they'll buy back a little higher than they sold. A little bit.
Yes.
Just they'll wait too long.
Losing money. Yes.
I tell people I'll go out, but I gotta be running distance from the crib.
I have thought that was a very interesting insight because I love talking to people with different perspectives because I want to learn how you think. I want to learn how other people think about things so that I can discern the truth for myself, because everybody's got their own made up fucking reality of the world.
How many super geniuses have to love Hex like before I'm all in? Like how many David Feeders do I have to listen to before I'm like, okay, like, you know what I mean? Like, what are the chances, Sam? All these open-minded, nice people. What Hex does is it finds geniuses. It does. It finds them because you need to be to understand how, because you have to have social affluence as well. Like there's all those people that are like, Richard's such a bum. I would never even look at his white paper. Well, they wouldn't read any white paper, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I just understand enough about life that I know 99% of people know nothing. And I have a feeling most people think people know a lot. When I walk around, when I talk to people, date people, do whatever, there's like this undertone that other people have an understanding of what's going on.
They don't have
They do not. They have no idea and I don't either in most 99% of subjects.
Yeah, no, correct. In the shit
people
that I know,
pretend they do. I would never, ever bring up a subject that I knew nothing about. It would be the dumbest thing. It would be annoying to me. Anyone who does that is silly. But what I will bring up is what I exactly know about. And it pisses people off because then they all bring up what they know about the subject, which is nothing.
And it's so easy to tell. It's so easy to tell. You talking about something that you know a lot about that I don't. I'm the curious observer. I'm the one here who's wants to learn and see your perspective and get your understanding of that thing, right? So that's why I ask a lot of questions on the show when people come on. But when you get into the arenas of things that I know about and people start to talk about things, you just can see the ignorance or the lack of knowledge, right? Depending on where their ego sits, it's either ignorance in a way that comes with the connotations associated with the word ignorance, or it comes from a learning observer, somebody who's trying to understand, somebody who's trying to gain
But what do we
perspective
say,
and grow.
Sam? There's so many factors. You don't have children. I don't have children. And it's Father's Day, so I guess we could bring this up. It puts people in a different position. I have to be more aggressive towards saving my family when I have children running around. I could literally live in a bush. Like I would make a fort and probably find it fun within a couple days. You know what I mean? I will make anything fun in my life. I've seen stuff in my life that sucked really bad, and it lasted very long, like way longer than you like jail sentence long. Like I wasn't in jail for a long time at all, but like stuff that over your head for years on end that you have no control over. I had to report to my probation office every day for 3 years. I had no license. I did not have a driver's license within this court time. I had to walk to the courthouse every day, meaning I could not work during the day. I mean, like for the first 2 hours or 3 hours, which is like a big fuck up when you're working. Like that's the first, like this prime time working for like blue collar guys, right? And that's when I realized like this is not meant here to help me. This is not helping. This is hurting. Thousands of dollars later, turmoil, years on end of bullshit. And I followed every rule, 6 years. I followed every fucking rule. And I got the fruits of following every single rule as well. But it was fucking boring.
But you made it, and going through that whole process has allowed you to get to where you are today. But I think the essence of what you were saying though is, focusing on yourself and understanding what you're going through is going to be the thing that is your strength to move
and
forward.
Nobody cares, dude. I roll up to the fucking. I just wish everyone knew how little anyone cared. If you think there's a girl out there that wants to date you because of your money, you're stupid. You're not correct. You're incorrect. And I have a good insight on this because I was in a time younger in my life where girls did not interact with me and they looked through me. And now when I walk into the gym, every girl hikes their pants up to fucking Neptune to show me their ass. I know what is real and what is fake. It never had anything to do with money. And I've seen guys with millions and millions and millions of dollars with no social IQ absolutely flop. And it just makes you realize what's actually occurring. This is a power thing. This has nothing to do with money. This has everything to do with leadership. It has everything to do with what you believe in yourself. And everyone around you will believe that too. Because what did we say a little bit earlier? Everyone buys into, they think everyone else knows. So I'll just be like, yeah, I am the fucking guy who knows,
And then you go all in on that one area, like what we're doing we have such an advantage, I feel like, by going through and looking at this shit every single day because Alan is a real estate agent. You just mentioned Luke, everybody else has like other shit that they're focusing on, which is amazing. Like you should focus on the shit in your life and be the best you can be in all the areas of life. But this is the area that we're choosing to focus on because the way we've set up our lives. And this stuff gives you such an advantage on the financial realm of, life, which is a gigantic issue for so many people in life, at least in this point in society.
It's not as hard as people think, it's annoying. But anyway, this is actually super informative, guys. We're going back into the base token 1-for-1 mint phase, perpetual rolling stakes, where at the end of the stake, you can either take out your funds or they can remain within the stake to keep earning that high APY. So let's continue here.
All by not redeeming and roll those stakes over so it'll get rolled over. And your base token will be your ownership token of that stake, 12-month stake. The new mint phase is occurring simultaneously where anyone can mint at the new mint rate. and determined by the yield earned from the stake will be the mint rate there, equal to the current treasury value of a base. So a mint rate will be 1 base.
Can you pause that for 1 second? I just want to read that
again. Base.
The new mint phase is occurring simultaneously, where anyone can mint at the new mint rate. So okay, so there's going to be an adjustment where it's not going to be 1.
I wonder if that's on the last day or if there's a day lag. You know what I mean? Because I wonder if it stops completely. So let me think about how a stake ends. So when you end the stake, you press the end stake function, it gets immediately shot back into your Ether address. So basically, once that phase is over, they'll take the rate, the difference, the premium between the first mint phase, which was 1 for 1, and I guess whatever the value is at that moment, and that'll be the new beginning rate in which you can maybe put more hex in.
Okay, wait a second. So let me read through this sentence, and then I want to continue down this dialogue.
There's like 10 or 12 more like slides this dude goes through, by the way.
Because there was a question that said, how are people losing their keys going to add value to the base token? And I think we have it right in this section here.
Ooh, okay.
Because what happens as people lose their keys? Yes, this is exactly how it is. Okay, so perfect. People lose their keys. What happens is people lose their keys. The treasury in base grows, right, over time. Every year, more people are going to lose their keys. This treasury is going to continue to expand. What happens during that 1 year, whether it's 1 day, 3 days, 7 days, however they structure this so that you can mint more base token, but it's going to be at a new rate. Well, now you have a larger treasury. What happens in the hex contract if you have a larger amount that you stake into the future?
You get a higher rate.
So as time goes on, the base token is going to gain a larger and larger rate because more and more people are going to lose their keys. Perfect. That's what I was trying to capture.
And that is a function of every crypto in a sense. Like it's not calculated because it's uncalculatable because you can't prove someone's keys are gone. But imagine how much Bitcoin is lost, never to be sold, never to be moved, never to be seen again. How many people bought Bitcoin day 7,700 or whatever, $1, $10, and they didn't have enough value prop in their mind to continue to focus on security? That's what the whole thing is. All these hexagons with $100 million are very focused on security. That's because you have $100 million. When you have $300, you don't give a fuck. So why don't we bridge that gap? Why don't we fix that? The bank doesn't fucking fuck me every time I forget something. That's one thing they do okay. That you don't lose your shit. They'll help you. But we can do that in a decentralized way still, kind of ish. People still need to be educated, but that'll be later. Let's continue.
The treasury value there. So mint rate equals 1 base per hex equals the current.
And real quick, imagine if Hedron goes absolutely nuclear and they're minting the whole entire time. So just remember the Hedron is also included in all this. And no matter what you guys think about Hedron, because it's in a bear market, you will be in max pain at some point because they will move together. It doesn't matter what you say. They will move together. And I can promise you that.
Bro, this is going to launch when this launches. And I bet there's going to be a couple-day period, just like with Maxi, where we can pick up base token for cheaper than the 1 for 1. And so you're basically buying something at a discount that should always be at a premium relative to hex.
It's already a premium. It just doesn't exist yet.
And when somebody's going to sell their shit, as soon as they do it because they fucked up, they're like, oh, I need that money. And then they're going to sell that shit. And we can pick up base at a discount, just like with Maxi. Sorry, guys, we could get excited about this stuff and we keep pausing it. But we're going to get back into this.
No, but we have to because it's so important because, Sam, I just got major value from Maxi. Major. So, like, this is real. Yeah, I know.
100%, dude.
This is so real. And we covered Maxi all the way through. There is a time and place in the future where these tokens are unrecognizable to people understanding them, but they're just buying them because they're popular.
Bro, think about this base token. Play this out mentally. Okay, so right now we got 3 cents, right, for hex. But as each new year, right, more keys are lost. What happens in 15 years? You're going to have a boat fucking load of hex sitting there that is never going to get touched. That every year you're going to have this contract. This contract is going to be getting the max payout because it's going to have the largest amount in there.
How much liquid hex is there, Sam? We'll look at those numbers soon. But if once you realize, and you know the percentage of the OA owns, so put that aside. Let's just talk percentages then. We're talking like 3% of liquid hex, and we're scraping away at 0.02%, 0.03%, 0.05% with these $150 million hex stakes for 15 years. Like, are you kidding me? Like, hex is going to be nearly impossible to get your hands on for fucking.
On the counter side of that, you're going to have people, right? We talk about this all the time. Is people with big bags who got in early? They're just going to dump on people's heads, and that's going to.
But luckily, we just had 6.5 months of downward pressure. So, in theory, there's less downward pressure to go. Potential downward pressure. A lot of guys are out. People are pulling up wallets every day. People that are out. Done. That was their last liquid hex. That was it.
Ooh.
And they sold hundreds of millions. Like, in it, because there's accounts that cover that stuff. Yep. And it's absolutely interesting when you finally see all these guys, because they'll get major retweets. They're like, that pussy's out, blah 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 blah. Like, he's gone, and it's super interesting. Like,
think with the Hedron thing we haven't even talked about, but there's definitely some speculative value with Hedron, and there is people in the Hedron community who are trying to figure out ways to add value to the Hedron token, because there's an underlying essence in the community, within a lot of people's minds in the community, that this Hedron thing you just dump. Right?
Yeah, well, they don't get it. They don't
correct.
get it yet. They don't get it.
So changing that perspective or narrative could change as time goes on, as the understanding of Hedron grows.
Of HSI stakes, when people understand what may be potentially possible and what may be potentially, because again, we're regurgitating a bunch of cyber nerds like over and over in their opinions, and they're all very smart and they're all very analytical, and it's not the majority. It's just not. And people like buying stuff that gets like whatever, auctions, all that stuff. There's more that they can do. Alex is a very, very, very smart man. Like, I'm not as smart as Alex, and he had a future insight when he was doing this. He might not, but he also might have known about the bear market. You never know what's going on behind the scenes, but what I do know is that they're going to move together.
This is gonna be fucking.
It's gonna be endless funds.
Guys, if you're in this, and this is the last thing I'll say in this before we get back into. If you're in crypto, paying attention like this, and you're dollar cost averaging right now, and you maybe recognize that it could be 36 months of you just dollar cost averaging before we hit a bear market. It's possible. We're in a recession, right? If that's the case, you will be in such a crazy different spot if you believe that crypto is going to rule the world, which it will rule the world.
There's only few, Sam. There's only few warriors that'll make it. And they are going to make huge impacts in their communities and in their businesses. Because
we'll have the money to invest.
We'll have the money to make banks. We'll have the money to make banks. And that's when, like, when you know guys that have $150 million and there's endless opportunity of multiples in front of that, you start thinking about banks. You start thinking about reserves. You start thinking about how can we have more power without interacting with the legislation, without being a direct, like, let's just occupy space. You know what I mean? Like, let's just occupy financial space, because people respond to $10 billion. People respond to that because that's how it is in this world.
Base treasury value. When the mint phase ends, all the hex in the base, the treasury is staked, and the cycle continues forever. I love that. So more hex just keeps getting staked, taken off the market, and that's what we love to see. Remember, if we're pulling out the big picture, and we're using the hex audit from Gunther, we had about 17.7 billion in circulating supplies. This helps to get more of that off the market. As
17.7 billion in circulating supply.
Of this is 17 billion hex tokens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And things like Maxi take out 200 million in 14 days.
Along with other products like Flex coming from Power City, and of course Hex Investment Trust buying stuff. lots of different vehicles as I keep
The
repeating
interesting
on this channel because I think we're getting a nice little
interesting thing might be to look at, say, these things and like how much is getting pulled off the market, with also how many stakes are end staking and how many is coming onto the market, right? Because you have that dichotomy where the boat has to float based upon how much is getting pulled away, and then how much end stakes are coming on the market, and then what percentage of those are flowing back into the marketplace. Sorry, go ahead.
So that was very, very cool. Let me just keep up with seeing the comments here. TB's in the house there. Evening all. Hey, good to see you, TB. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so that is kind of where we got up to in our first live coverage. And since then, we've had a lot of extra information coming in. So we've got here from Maximus again, the official Twitter. Base equals low risk and high yield. 5% bigger pays better, or BPB. 5% bigger pays better, plus a 20% longer pays better bonus.
So within it, Sam, when you, in this time around, it looks like within it, if you add more to the pool, you actually get added rewards. So where before it was the 1-for-1 mint phase, is this maybe like if you, because it says 5% bigger pays better, annual realized yield, earning yield while you're, what is that? Is
Well,
it kind of,
so when he read this, there's, if you look at things on large numbers, you can kind of like draw certain types of conclusions. Like, did you know that airlines actually sell, if there's 150 seats, they actually sell 155 or 160 seats, because they have a massive amount of data that says, 10 people are going to not show up every day. So if you think of that and you apply it to this, you're like, okay, if they raise 50 million bucks, 20 million bucks, $6 million, it's probably gonna be much lower than Maxi. Whatever that number is, right? You could say that, say of 10 million bucks, they could take $1 million and put that at 5 years out, and it will actually not going to affect anybody in this system, because there's going to be people who lose their keys.
interesting, Sam?
I don't know if they're going to do this, but
I know, but that's
possible.
if they're looking into the data that hard, that would make a lot of sense.
And they could. There's also.
And they seem like the kind of guys that, I mean, this is some.
They're smart guys.
Creating a game theory is heavy level stuff. So you're getting into the weeds. I mean, you're learning. Like me and Sam, we're learning about a coin. You better believe we'd be researching game theory all goddamn day long, because that's really what it is. After the immutability factor, it's game theory.
And of course, you get 20% shares per year when you stake your hex. Your hex gets staked, and you get 20% more shares per year. So on a 12 month basis, it's 20%. Annual realizable yield.
Oh, so
that's why.
I've realized what he's saying now. He's just giving the rates to what it will be. Like, fuck, I forgot.
Longer pays better. Every year you get an additional 20%.
Yeah, it's show. No. What it's doing is it's showing you the 1 year rate. So those two numbers are just directly representative of the 1 year rate for hex. So that was my bad. But hey, if you're listening, guys,
they probably wouldn't make it as complex as I just mentioned.
Yeah,
you could.
It's interesting to think about. If you had the coders, it'd be interesting to think about.
So you actually get to realize that yield at the end of 12 months, as compared to the Maximus Maxi token, where that's at the end of the 15.2 year period. So this is on a short time frame. So fitting a different part of the market that likes these 12-month yield periods. Earn yield while waiting for huge future growth, future high growth opportunities. Obviously, with the long-term outlook for hex there. So very, very cool. And they've got a nice little picture there as well. Little on the moon, I guess that is, especially on the moon. Maximus base, a base on the moon. All right, so cool. Then we got this other one 6 hours ago. This was also from Maximus. Unlike projects launching a V2, in other words, a version 2 to try and save their ass after failure. Obviously, a lot of projects out there do launch and they have to change the tokenomics all the time. They often, because there's problems with the tokenomics, maybe with the supply and demand, things like that. However, Maximus is expanding on massive success. Obviously, Maximus Maxi has been super successful, and we cover that just about every day, some twice a day on this channel. So pretty cool. 15 million in 14 days. This was the Maxi token, 32.5% APY, annual percentage yield, 75% premium over hex is what it's been running at. Pretty amazing, really. And legendary community. Seems like community is getting very sticky, very committed from the looks of it on the whole. And that helps with that supply demand factor as well. Gladiators are merciful, but we love to win. Obviously, people in the community called gladiators there. So pretty cool from Maximus. Now we get into some of the real new stuff here from the dev that's been out from the dev. So we're going to talk about that. Get Hex here. So basically the same as Maxi. You just can't mint. You can mint it earlier. Yeah, 12 months rolling is what it is there. Get Hex, but same kind of mint redemption process in place. So Dip Catcher starts to give us a bit more depth to these new products. And of course, this week I finished writing 2 contracts. This is back on the 28th of May. So we're going back a little bit in time here. And of course, this week, this was probably a bit cryptic at the time when you wrote it because they hadn't come out with the announcement that we just saw. This week I finished writing 2 contracts. Let me just get out there. This week I finished writing 2 contracts that are core to the expansion of Maximus DAO. That's right, 2 symbiotic contracts, 2 asset-backed tickers, 2 high-yield opportunities that will expand the financial utility of Hex and pave the way for vibrant stake pools and markets. So obviously we've got these products coming. So as we talked about at the top here, we're talking about the base contract there and the team contract. So we'll get more into details of that. All right, so that's where we're up to. That was a teaser on the 28th. Now we actually know what those are. So pretty cool. Then on the 12th of June, this is when we started getting some insights from the Dip Catcher, who's obviously on his wedding or honeymoon. Yeah, honeymoon there for his wedding. Final week though. Ride with us if you care about decentralized, unstoppable, trustless, and multi-chain finance, expanding the financial utility of Hex. And this is really powerful, right? So this is a win-win. People win by participating, just an awesome design. But also it's a global win for Hex because it takes Hex off the market.
This is you're muted for a second there.
Imagine creating something out of thin air, Sam, out of your brain that made your Hex automatically more valuable with code.
Beautiful.
Just because you made it.
And
that's what he's doing here. He's saying, join us, unstoppable, trustless, multi-chain finance.
Multi-chain is what I wanted to actually mention.
That's what
there.
I was.
Ethereum and Pulse Chain. Is that what he means?
Yes.
Or is he talking about something else? Right? Is he going to do this on other chains? I don't know.
Catcher is just reaching his prime. Like he's getting right in there, man. He's getting married. He's on his honeymoon. He's probably has more money now than he used to, and he's all in on his purpose. He's all in. So I'm riding with this dude. A decentralized, trustless, unstoppable multi-chain finance, expanding the financial utility of Hex. You made it in a way that Richard Hart would say this is good. How do you do that? Richard Hart hates all things that are not Hex. And Richard Hart likes this product. He mentions it. He says, hey, people, he doesn't like mention it by name because he doesn't like to advertise too much. But he says, hey, people are making building on Hex, and this is what they should have been doing a long time ago. And he says it, and it's just the first. We're all here watching the first guys get at it. It's insane. It's insane to watch. These are the future financial leaders. I'm telling you. I promise you. Like, there's no question in my mind. These guys will be around for a long, long, long time, and they're doing really, really good work. Transparent faces out there, derivative products, immutable, unstoppable. These guys are deeply,
yes, innovative, all this kind of
and
stuff.
They care.
The last line here in his tweet, setting an example of leadership, persistent positivity, creativity, innovation, strength, and honor for the whole world to see. Dip Catcher, I haven't spoken to Gold Key, is every single time just comes across as a good man, like trying to do the right thing, trying to like really move things forward.
Reminds me of Feeder, reminds me of all these guys. Like a lot of these guys have they have made it out of the matrix, whatever matrix they were in. David said it, personal story yesterday. He's like, I thought my life was going to suck. And I said the same thing. I was like, me too, kind of. Like, I thought it'd be all right, but like, you know, like I didn't think it was going to be like amazingly fucking incredibly insightful every single day. Learn new stuff, communicate with anyone I want. Like, people are just missing the point when they're complaining. They don't understand. They're not out yet. They haven't seen what they need to see yet, and they have more time to suffer immensely. Okay.
Links right off the market, which is super, super good. And it's one of the, I think, a very powerful thing that is going to add to the whole ecosystem. And I've gone through all those lists. I'm actually going to do a chart of those lists so that you guys can see that. Hopefully I'll do that tomorrow. Setting up an example of leadership, persistence, positivity, creativity, innovation, strength, and the honor for the whole world to see. So I love it. Very, very cool. So that is that. And then obviously the Maximus team, they said the gladiators are building an empire, kings of the decentralized age, help everybody get wealthier and to do it very smart. So like that. Dip Catcher says on the 12th there, no rush for another fight. Oh, someone asked, it means 555 X stake, Maxi 2.0 is not on your agenda. So obviously having another long-term a token like Maxi for 15.2 years or 5,555 days. Dip Catcher did respond to that particular question. No rush for another 555 call. I don't want you to be exit liquidity for those who desperately need a pump for their short stake yield to cover high living costs. When the time is right, we will. But till then, we must increase short stake competition if you understand this truth. So I've already got the Maxi long product at the moment. They're going to focus on doing the short-term staking, the 12 months. And obviously, they're going to have possibly have 555 in the future. We'll have to stay tuned well in the future there for that. Then on Trithea, Dip Catcher says, much like Maxi democratized max link staking, in other words, taking that 555 stake and allowing it to be owned by a lot of people is pretty much what they did for small entrants. And of course, they allowed small users to be able to get the bigger pays better bonus at 10%, and that was pretty exciting. And also have the optionality in as well. So often markets price and optionality, and we can see a 75% premium on Maxi at the moment. Due to gas costs for ending stake, and that's the other benefit, obviously, with one gas fee, rather than everyone having to pay their own gas fees for their own individual stakes is a benefit too. Base, that's the new token there for the 12-month rolling, democratizes short-term passive income staking, previously only feasible for large incumbents. So awesome for that. So I love that. So that is another one there. Then, of course, he put in applying competitive pressure to these incumbents will force them to A, stake longer, right? Number B, take more risk trading for the same return. Then taking more risk trading is
You're muted for a second there.
That's what I like talking about a lot, is like it's what the value prop kind of is. Like, it's hard to see unless you really know what goes on in crypto, but like decentralized stuff that you can sell that's like very high value is fabulous.
Well, think about what he's saying right here in this sentence.
Yeah.
Applying competitive pressure to these incumbents. Who are the incumbents? The people that we talk about who just do short-term stakes to keep their shit locked.
Oh, shit.
Right? That's interesting.
Like another positive pressure point because, yeah.
It's going to be stealing away from those people and giving it to the small people, right? Because people who have big bags, they don't give a shit. They already have plenty of money. They're just going to do it for 1 month and be like, okay, cool. I'll just do it for 1 month because then if shit hits the fan, I can still get out in 1 month. And then everybody else, the people who don't have the money, right? The small guys, the people like us, right? The ones who have to go further into the future to get the benefit. Right? Where with this type of thing, it puts pressure on them or takes it out of their pocket and places it into people's pocket.
It's incredible. Dude, the cool thing about stuff like this is I guarantee they didn't know all of this when they launched it. This stuff comes to fruition through real market dynamics. Like they figure these things out, right? Like they figure out.
Right.
You can't have that much insight. I know this because Richard always mentions, like, dude, half the stuff I know about Hex, I did not know about it when it launched. He says that all the time. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, he did not understand what it was capable of until it was put into the market. But he knew that it wasn't open-ended. It had no open ends. It was a circular system and then out. So it's like T-share rate goes up, Hex price goes up and down, blah, blah, blah. But then he's like, oh my God, it's incentivized people. He didn't think people would stake for 6.3 years. No, he said, no way. I thought that. No way. 6.3 years plus. Imagine if you made a project and people were putting $150 million into it for 15 years. That would feel good. That would feel really good. That would almost feel like you dominate everyone. And then they kind of feel where Richard's coming from. Look where he's coming from. Look at Celsius. Look at the guys that get press. It would bother you. I mean, to the point where like he's a little bit more like rawr than some people. I'm not necessarily like that, but like how many years do you have to get shat on and be doing something better than everyone before you just start buying fancy stuff and posting pictures? I mean, it kind of makes sense. He's like lost all his angles. Like it's not going to come at it from the intellectual angle. No one listens to him other than us. It's like the people that don't listen to him he would rather them hate on him because then they'll buy shit. Yeah.
creates more attention, and they're doing marketing for him because you're living in their head rent free. Like you don't have to pay to get in there, and they're just going to talk
How
shit
many
about you.
Richard Hart tweets are there from people saying that he's a scammer or like he's a loser or he's a robust asshole? So many. It's just like, and then he just comments and he just posts the chart on log, and it's just like
I want to do a separate video
It's
on
good
this
because
thing.
it creates more bi-directional price.
Because by the way, there's only one video on the entire internet on this, what we're covering right now. And this is the one we're watching. And it's the one we're watching. So you would be number 2 for actual video. Well, actually, this was a live stream as well. So you would be number 1 for video
separate.
Make sure you write the words, because anyone who will type those words, it'll be the only thing that comes up. Trust me.
Yeah. No, base token explained all the details or something.
Better deals.
Well, just write base maxi, because no one does maxi either.
Oh, so they're also helping the general game theory there, adding more competitive buy pressure in the short term as well. So stake longer or take more risk trading for the same return. I like that. So then obviously after that we got another update. Our other base end user benefits, 99% gas savings versus solo staking. So it's a massive on the gas fee. Obviously the S-load function, that's the storage function that stores all the, I guess, the return calculations every day that you have. You serve a day of your hex stake. It's going to be much cheaper with that. There's going to be a circa 15% APY annual percentage yield with lower risk. So it's going to be really positive. And of course, 5% bigger pays better bonus, plus a 20% longer pays better bonus, obviously for 20%, as I said, for a year. Annual realizable yield, and of course, outpace the 3.69% liquid hex dilution. Obviously, it's up to 3.69% is the inflation rate. Liquid hex dilution while waiting for future high growth hex opportunities that may or may not be created. No expectations there. So that was pretty cool. What else we got in here? A few other comments. Someone was talking about obviously the transference of hex, which we do every day on here. With the price of hex, more retail people will be able to buy up some of this large holder stuff that's being sold, and of course that gets distributed to more people. And of course, the hex machiner was calling this the Great Hex Reset, but Dipcatcher was saying actually this will be known as the Great Hexkin Redistribution, which is what I say on this channel all the time. The Maximus DAO pools have a huge role to play in this, and I say that too. I think these are beautiful products, a perfect market fit, and of course actually accelerating the hex fundamentals, plus also breaking down some of the barriers how hex gets gatekept some places. The products from Maximus are helping breaking that limitation down also.
Oops, his sound was cutting out on that.
So there's a blue. That was it for that, for the most part.
So is there anything that we can take a look at to cover team, and then we can talk about
other than Dipcatcher's tweets? No.
Okay.
But they're coming on this week. So
yeah.
And if you dig through his tweets, like you'll see it in the Maximus tweets. It's all in there. But like they might, I don't know. I haven't seen the specifics on team, so I don't know if they've written them down yet, because usually I would have found them by now. But there was a Bloomberg article, 8.3 million subs on Twitter, written about Hex.
If you want to pull that up quick
this morning.
That base token, very, very interesting. I'm that time, right? Because there's times in the market where you can find opportunity, and then the opportunity goes away. Good morning, Jerry. You can see this with Maxi. When it first launched, opportunity, you traded 1 for 1, immediately went up to a 70% premium, immediately, right where it should have been trading. You're going to see this happen with base 2. I predict now. Like somebody clip this.
Built in. It's almost built in. It's like we just saw it. Like it's just the premium is just going to be different. but like there's a premium there, period. End of story. It's a year stake. It has Hedron pumping off of it. It's going to be 5% bigger pays better bonus. It's gonna you don't get that. You just don't get that. And you can trade it whenever you want. Get wrecked. Well, yeah. Wait, so do you mint the base token after the year?
Every year. It
But
sounds like.
so the first year is when the first base token will be minted.
Yep. And then in year two, if
Well,
you
base token's going to be like a gem next year. Everyone will be like, "What's that base token?" You'll be like, "Should have been watching crypto in the morning."
the
every single day.
supply will increase of base, but it will
Yes.
increase at a decreasing rate because it's going to be more expensive.
Well, it'll get
as time
pinched
goes
out by
on.
the premium of the market. Yeah, it'll just like because more
Come
people.
down.
Yeah.
Yep.
It'll be really interesting to watch. I'm going to read this article real quick.
What's the title of it? In case people want to find it.
I love how they boggled it down with fucking Bitcoin shit. Fuckers. Hold on, I'm just gonna pull it over here.
That works.
Producer Bullish is a father. Oh, I don't know if he wants me to say that. I think everyone knows that he might have kids. But anyway, he's doing family shit. Just so that's why I'm a little slow in the transition. So it's called, I don't know what it's fucking called.
Memories of Bitcoin beating returns.
I thought that was an ad. My bad. Memories of Bitcoin beating return hex holders hanging on. Keep hex holders hanging on. Yes. So we're beating Bitcoin returns. So yes, that will keep us hanging on. That's for darn sure. So let's read it. Bloomberg. The more than 100,000 devoted to a little known token called Hex, swapping jokes and encouraging each other to stay bullish over time on Telegram messaging app, shows the desire to get rich quick remains as strong as ever in the myth. Rich quick, you son of a bitch. I've been doing this. You son of a. I'll smack his face for saying.
And they say 100,000 devotee people. That's just addresses. I have no idea how many people that is.
That's the staker class.
Yes, but that could be 50,000 people. I could have 17 addresses.
Yeah. It's just the unique addresses. Yeah.
Yeah, so but he's calling devotees. It's not true. Like,
well, yeah, but yes. We'll let them slide on that because these guys probably fucking did this in 20 minutes. Even though I cannot believe they wrote this. Who paid them? Can
you make this bigger, like a little bit?
I don't. How do you do that?
Press Control plus on the keyboard. So make that tab active. So you click on that tab where the text is, and then press Control plus, and it should make.
You learn new things every day, guys. I don't lie to you when I say that I'm new to the web space. I know what I know, but what I don't know, I just do not know. Thank you. Even that's going to be very helpful for me. Even though the coin is among the thousands that trade as just a few cents, the stupidest fucking sentence I've ever heard in my life. Like every coin is valued differently because of the supply. Whoops. I clicked on something.
You're good.
It has developed an outsized portfolio. Hex creator, who goes by Richard Hart, has positioned himself at the center of the hype, projecting an over-the-top presence on social media with the designer tracksuits, expensive jewelry, and luxury vehicles. Man, you never seen a billionaire with those things. While Hart projects endless optimism and aggressive marketing, which includes old-fashioned direct mail promotion. Yeah, he doesn't do any of that himself, but we do love direct mail promotion, of course. The value of the token has tumbled more than 90% from its all-time highs in September. But what really stands out is how Hex dangles on a roadmap to great wealth for so-called Hexicans. Hex is an app on Ethereum network that offers stable and traditional investing package in a crypto wrapper is what's called a blockchain certificate of deposit, user lockup, or stake. The Hex coin they've purchased from the app for up to 15 years to earn interest paid off for more Hex tokens. Hex's website says typical return locks for 6.6 years to average 38% annual returns. That sounds pretty reasonable if you really look at it.
Mm-hmm.
That has raised eyebrows among industry observers, especially the light of the recent collapse of Terra USD stablecoin related to Luna token. Absolutely unrelated, but we'll keep going. And the freeze of withdrawals by lending platforms, Celsius Network. Wow, thank you for highlighting that in this article. That's good.
But they're trying to relate it to Hex. And
I know, but still, like those things ended and Hex did not, so that's good.
Correct.
Which were dependent on promises of high-yielding returns and abstract steady streams of new investors. Meanwhile, Hart said he's developing a network called the Pulse Chain, which will eventually issue tokens that will distribute to Hex holders and Ethereum users. Hex increase in value in more people when Hex increases in value, the more people put money in, and decrease when people pull money out, said John Griffin, a financial predictor. The last people in will likely be left with nothing. And let me see, financial professor.
Yes.
Thank
So
God he learned all his good stuff fucking 40 years ago. Hart, who told Bloomberg News in an interview, his real name is Richard Schuller, remains undeterred. Hex direct mailing and ads on sides of buses in places such as London noted that the price went up 11,500% in 129 days. As of late, the coin's founder has mirrored the recent crypto boom and bust, which with its price falling from an all-time high about 50 cents to December to around 3 cents. How many lost everything? Luna went to zero, Hart said. Rug pulls everywhere, bridge failures. You're just like, when we are the only ones doing it right. Hart declined to disclose the size of his personal hex stake, I guess that's just the verbiage, but likes to say that no one minds that Bitcoin's supposed anonymous creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, holds a huge swath of Bitcoin, about 300,000 accounts of hold Hex, but it's clear how many people they belong to, according to the blockchain track. I want to ask you that, Sam, for someone who has never mentioned this piece of it. What do you think about, okay, so the first one was Bitcoin, but Satoshi's not there. He could be dead. He could be ready to sell. He could be anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the negative externality, right? Because he's not there.
Yeah.
Who is he? There's no attack point. So again, I would rely that wouldn't occur, but you're just putting your faith into someone you don't know. And Richard's been very adamant to let people know what's going on with him. He obviously gave his full name. So
you could, because you see the same thing happening.
What do you think about Hex versus Bitcoin as far as just from a complete unbiased, just you thinking perspective? You see these two things. You know that Hex is a layer 2, right? I mean, it's built on Ethereum, right? Does that really matter? You know about the nodes. You know about everything now. You understand how it works. Do you think Hex has more legs long term? I guess we would also have to look at those short term large stakes. That would be something that we would personally have to dive into.
I think Hex will probably get it. I mean, if Hex is like what it's proposed to be, and a lot of people believe it to be, then it will be continued to redistribute to people as early people who got in just by luck of the draw, by being aware, those people will sell on the new people who will get in, and it'll become more decentralized over time. What is up with, Richard owning, most of the supply?
And being honest about, let's be 100% clear. He can't say it's his shit.
Correct.
Come on, we're not stupid. And he's not, come on. I don't like beating around that bush because it's stupid. But what do you think? What do you think about it's Richard? You know Richard at this point as
one thing that I think would have been very interesting way to structure this with his holdings is when I read through Cult, right? Cult's super interesting, but what they did that I think could be applied to Hex, or could have been applied to Hex, to reduce the scammery, notion that people were calling out was.
So do you think that scammery notion is an indirect proportion / relation to the amount of Hex or the amount that the OA holds? Or do you think people even get there? Or do you think it's more the pictures? Do you because we're way past the pictures, right? We don't think about pictures. We think about paperwork usually, of some sort. And we've read the paperwork. We've seen the people. We've talked to enough geniuses. We've extrapolated enough data. But he puts his face out there every day and says what he believes, and he's over and over and over again right. And I know people that do that, and they are consistent. I always bring up Vigorous Steve, Derek, more plates, more dates. They read consistently. They always have. And when they stopped reading, they hired 5 researchers. and they just have it 24/7 because that's the freedom part, right? And it seems like does it seem like to you that he has a like crazy insight, at least like on this market in particular?
On the crypto space in general, I think that more than I have.
Me
So what do you think about this? So, and obviously you can't change anything. So if I was designing Hex and put myself in that, knowing what I know now, which wasn't available when he created Hex, so this is just, Monday morning quarterbacking kind of thing, right? The Hex stake that is all owned by one address, or, those daughter addresses, being something along the lines of them being, hey, these are all effectively vested over 40 years, right? So that means that it's locked in. It's in a smart contract that says none of this can be sold for 40 years or 50 years or 60 years or 75 years or whatever the case is, or 1% can be sold per year after year 15 or something along those lines, because then it takes that argument away from people that you just have to trust one person. Like, we know how trusting one person can work, but we can also have the other side of things where, life happens to people and they've got to make decisions that are in their best interest, right? And that might hurt other people potentially. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know, just something that I think about with that.
I'm gonna pull that up in 1 second. He says, oh God, don't get me started. Get more maxi with Hex while the ratio is still under 2, like 1.73. Oh God, because in my head it's gonna go higher too. Once there's
talk to them for a second. I gotta take a piss real
a
quick.
little more awareness. I will. A little more awareness. Guys, I posted it. Hey, while Sam's gone, I posted an Ether address. That is a safe address. If anyone wants to donate, the YouTube super chats, they kind of like, I'm learning about all this crap right now, by the way. But like, they rob you, like, I assume so. And seeing people put any large amount of money in there is probably counterproductive. But if anyone wants to donate to the show, I got like 3 or 4 months left that I can, like, if I wasn't working at all, again, I'm starting to make more money on the feet, which is great. But and I'm going to keep covering this every single day, no matter what. If anyone wants to donate to make this process easier for me, go ahead. But of course, you know what I like more than anything? When you hit the share button and you hit the like button. I like that the most. I like the comments afterwards, and I like when you share this out on Twitter and Instagram. I have a Twitter, an Instagram, and a TikTok and a Facebook page. Follow me on everything. Jim Rat Crypto. You'll find me on everything. My baby's the show, though. My baby's the show. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I'm going to be doing more than just this show as I get better. I am starting to get a little more fluid, a little more better, being a little better, a little bit more creative within interacting with the camera, and while I'm researching at the same time. And I'm going to make some really good videos soon coming up. But again, I'm having some sticking points because I get so researchy in the morning with the show, and I want to make it the best show ever while everything, because there's so much going on right now, and I think it's gonna pay huge dividends for the people that watch this show every single day. And I really, really do. Like, I'm gonna be paying attention to this stuff for you guys. You know what I mean? Like, that's my role, and I like to do it. I enjoy it. It's very fun for me. It's fun for me to provide value. People in here saying, "Oh, I haven't heard about this token yet." That's what I like. I want to educate people, because to me, this is not difficult. This is very enjoyable. But to others, they got kids, they got shit to do, all that stuff. I want to be here to help everyone that watches this show, and I want to make this the best crypto show that's ever existed. And that's what I'm working on. That's what I want. That is what I like, and I want to provide it by providing value. I would never want this show to be popular if it was freaking lame.
Yes. Well, it wouldn't be, right?
Just do yard work.
Right. That would be more
I'm like
enjoyable.
half thinking about going to my neighbors and being like, "Can I just like fix your yard up so my yard looks better? Because your yard sucks."
Dude, like the next door neighbor, right? The next door neighbor is a rental property, and they moved out because they weren't paying their bill. And so their yard looks like utter trash. I've offered to buy the property from the owner. I was like, hey,
Dude,
you
I'm
can sell the
I'm
property.
close. I'm close to just like buying an F load of drugs and going over to the neighbor's house and just being like, I'll swap you. Because they'll take it. If you brought them 150 cartons of cigarettes and like a pound of meth, they'd probably sell the house. I could hear them screaming all the time. Yeah, like all my neighbors on this side, and they're not bad people by any means, but we call it caught up.
we're gonna catch up. Speaking of catching up, we're gonna catch up and talk about Pulse Bot. I'm sorry, Pulse Pot
please.
very quickly.
Teach me
wrap up
something.
the
I
show.
want to know, because and we can get this guy on later in the week too. I met him once.
So it's kind of like a casino, where you take money, which is oops. I thought I had the right site pulled up, and I clearly don't have it pulled up. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. But you basically take in see if I can pull this up. All right, I'm not going to try to pull this up at the same time, but you put money in, which is Pulse, Hex, Maxi, all these things into a game. So basically, if you like wasting your money,
like the interface is kind of like, I'm going to take some of my coins and I'm going to inject them into what, like a
game,
wallet, a game, just so it'll ask you for some funds. But what's the token?
PLSP.
And where do I get? How do I obtain some of these?
So they're going through a sacrifice. I don't say anybody should sacrifice. I am not sacrificing, but it could be an interesting token. I don't like to play games like that. It just doesn't fancy for me. But why the token could be valuable is that every
I'm going to pull
time.
this up while you're talking, by the way.
Please, yeah, I was trying to pull it up. And I don't remember their site. So when you bet, right? Because you take some SHIB or Maxi or Hex or Pulse or Pulse X, and you bet in this pool. It runs 5 minutes, a 5-minute game. So you put it in there. Every $1 of USD value you get, from my understanding, I'm reading through the site in the Q&A multiple times, you get a chance of winning the prize. And the more money you put in, the greater your chances of winning the prize. Everybody can put it in, and then just randomly you're picking one, person that actually wins the whole prize. When they win, they get taxed, or there's a fee of 3%. Now, how can somebody avoid this fee? By holding a larger bag of PLSP, right? So 3% fee if you win, say if you win $1,000, you're getting charged $30. How could you get around that? If you have a 100 PLSP in your wallet, then you actually don't have to pay that 3% fee. So another way to think about this.
Wait, so the total max supply is 1 million?
Very tiny. 100,000.
Oh, I hate that. But I mean, I don't know enough to hate that completely, but I don't like that, because I don't like unit bias is a real thing. Like unit bias, I don't like buying half of stuff. I hate it. It's annoying. It makes me feel poor.
And the other thing about that is that they claim to have a price. So this is one of the concerns about this. Oh, thank you for pulling this up. They say that there's a price floor of $30 for this thing. So that means that they're like, okay, this PLSP is going to trade for $30. If it doesn't, you can arbitrage it, is the verbiage that they use on their site. If you understand arbitrage, the only way an arbitrage thing can be closed, or somebody could take advantage of the profit to bring those prices closer together, is if there's a loop. Look at Greystone, or what is it, Blackstone or Greystone, the BTC trust, right? You have this trust that invests in Bitcoin, and it trades. It's currently at about a 30% discount relative to BTC. The only thing this trust holds, the only thing, is Bitcoin, and it's selling at a 30% discount. So
wait, hold on. I need you to back up for a second. That's interesting. I was reading the bottom. This is way more than I thought it would be. This is interesting. So what were you just, when it comes to, you were bringing up another problem, it sounded like. What was that problem, and where does that BTC come into play?
They claim that this token is going to be $30.
Okay.
So you're like, okay, well, right, when you look at liquid loans, there's a mechanism in place where if USDL is trading at 30 cents. You can go buy it for 30 cents and then redeem it for $1. They're, at least on their site and their Q&A, on their sacrifice page, I read through all of this on their site and here twice to make sure. I was like, wait, am I missing something? Like, they don't talk about this at all. And then there's another concern on this. Still might be interesting, right? But there has to be a way for that loop to close. Like, how is it going to maintain its $30 price? What happens if in Pulse X it trades at $20? You're like, okay, I can go.
Well, no, I don't. It says we'll have a value on day one. So
yes, scroll down.
And right here, just for clarification for me, it looks like I am in. This is my hacked account, so luckily I get to have the fruits of my labor here. We are here 200% gain. So basically, Sam, depending on how much you put into the wallet to a certain point, you'll get a different rate, right? It's what it seems like. And if you have $5,000 in USD value or more, you're moved into the $5 PLSD range. So basically, this is just calculating everything, but this could just go to zero the day it ended.
But correct. Correct.
Yes.
So
what's the key stuff?
So scroll down, and then I want you to read another Q&A question. So scroll down past this stuff.
Okay.
There's Q&A after this, so scroll down a little bit more. Okay, one of them. So, okay, how the second one up from the bottom right there? It says, "How does $30 PLSP floor work?" See that one? Click that, and then go ahead and read that.
The Pulse Pot contract has a minimum value of $30 per PLSD. Minimum value, hard coded into the contract. So I'm gonna have to look at that. PLSP is the only token with a minimum value in the pot. All the other PRC20s follow PulseX market price every 5 minutes. If the market price of PLSP goes above $30, the Pulse Pot contract follows the price up. This creates arbitrage opportunities for players.
So, okay.
You decode that for the people.
Okay. So, so they're saying PLSP in their game has a value of $30. Cool. Okay. Get that. You put it into the fucking code and you're like, hey, it's hard coded. People in this community
makes sense, like from a like a straight up number point of view, but that's it.
So now this last sentence is what doesn't make sense.
This creates arbitrage opportunities for players. That makes, when they say players, that's a scary word. Like, who are the players? Are you the player, Mr. Writer? Because you probably have a better idea about what's going on here than everyone else. So making a token which incentivizes ARB, not necessarily good. There is ARB opportunities within every token. That doesn't necessarily mean ARBing is a good idea, especially when you're talking about Pulse Pot, which is, we don't even, I got to look at the founders and shit. I got to look at the codes and stuff. I got to talk to the Pulse police about it. But yeah, so this is this, not saying, I'm not saying this won't work out by any means, correct, of course, but this looks absolutely risk filled rather than risk less, is what we look for. I want to read, let's read this one. PvP stands for player versus player. Actually, I don't care about
that. So what questions? Ask me questions. What questions do you have about this?
Well, let me read through these first to see if there's any that I could How is the winner decided? What is the Pulse Pot launch on Pulse Chain mainnet? What is participation phase?
So that is the 100,000. Remember how there's 1 million tokens?
Yeah.
100,000 goes into this pool.
Okay.
And they're going to distribute this pool after launch as like a bonus type thing.
So how do they have that exact calculation to $60?
After mainnet launch, all pots. So this is every bet.
Oh, so it's after mainnet launch. Oh, I see.
All pots will have 3 PLSP added to the pot as a bonus. On top of that, 1 PLSP will be added to the pot for every $15 of value added to the pot. Okay, so pause here for a second. Does that make sense?
No.
So every day there's about 190. If you just take,
well, it makes less sense from the fucking hardball statements up here. Like, it would make more sense if they didn't say what they said. Whatever that first part the $30 price floor. Yeah, I love how that's right after. It's like, yeah. I love how this
Also,
is where it's in. This is where I have an issue. I need to like this sentence right here. So
so there's
$30
more.
per PLSP hard coded into the contract. Yeah, is that just hard coded? Meaning that's what you and like. I
But there's
don't
no
know.
way to take advantage of it. That means there's no way to arbitrage it. There's no way to like arbitrage something. You have to be able to buy it at a discount and then sell it for it to arbitrage. Like otherwise, Grayscale. You know Grayscale how it trades at a discount.
Yeah,
You know why it trades at a discount?
no,
Because there's
not
no way to
directly.
there's no way to arbitrage it.
It's just one sided.
Correct. If I could buy it 33% discount and turn around and sell it for real Bitcoin, I
would
could make
shrink.
that. I can. Yes, you're right.
It would just be
There-
barely. It would just be like Maxi if everyone traded it.
Yep. That is not at least
be
in the verbiage that
1.1.
they put. They put this. So there's a couple other things that I found in here. You
Yeah.
see in the very bottom here, it says the participation phase, right?
Yep.
In there. Okay. See how it says $15? The second sentence. On top of that, one PLSP will be added.
The pot, every 15 USD value added to the pot. So one PLSP added to the pot that takes
For-
the PLSP token bonus along with the tokens won from the pot. This will go on until 100,000 PLSP tokens have been given out in form of bonuses. So they're taking that one big bonus and then throughout the games.
Yep. So if there's a game and there's $5 games and then it gets up to $15, they're going to give you another PLSP.
So I'm giving my tokens up for the games,
yes, but no, you're going to earn tokens. You're going to.
but I don't do the games.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the profit in a second, but just from a detail, just from like a paying attention to it, they say $15 here per game. If it reaches $15, you get that game gets one PLSP added as a bonus to the pool. On their website, they say $20. There's one more instance of this, and then we'll talk about the profits of the token. On their website, they say profits are paid out and then stay here for a second or scroll down just a tiny little bit on this section here. Okay, right here is good. On their website, it says 1/3 of profits are paid out to buy and burn the token. 1/3 of profits are paid out in 6-month dividend type things in PLS. So you have this token and you basically just earn pulse. Cool, right? Like that's why I said the token's interesting, potentially. And then there's a monthly lottery. So it could or could not be valuable. The probability of winning that's probably pretty fucking low. Now, that was on their website. If you look here directly in the middle of the page, it says 30% of all profits are used to buy back what we just said. 30% of all profits are paid out to the holders. So that's where the 6 months is paid out. 30% of all profits are used for monthly lottery. Okay, cool. You're like, okay, that seems similar, right? But it's different. 1/3 is 33.33334%. 30% is different. 30 plus 30 plus 30 is 10%. Does that mean that the people behind this are collecting 10% of every single pot? I don't know. It's just not clear.
If you look at the Etherscan addresses, the top one has roughly 10 times more money than any of the other ones. And I just pulled it up and it looks like here, I don't know if this dude's doxed yet or whatever, but hold on. I got to switch the fucking screen. God damn it.
So on their website, they basically just say all profits are being distributed. And on their sacrifice page, it says 90% of the profits are being distributed. Where's the other 10% going? Maybe it's just a fuck up, somebody not paying attention. But you got to pay attention to these when you're dealing with people's fucking money. Period. Like when I come out with a coin, whenever it is, like I'm gonna pay attention to these fucking details. And if you guys see me making these mistakes, call me out on that shit so I can get better. Okay, what are we looking at here?
So this is the top sacrificer's ether address. And he's got roughly 400 grand in hex. So he's probably a Hexican. Let's check his previous token balances. Anyway. So he's just a normal Hexican, it looks like. Let's see if he has any crazy in and outs. Outs. Lots of outs.
Selling hex?
62 days ago. Yeah, this dude was selling the top like a boss.
How can you tell those are outs? What did you
It says
look
right
at?
here.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
So this will be in, and then so this dude's been
Just selling the whole time.
probably knowing what he's doing. It seems like he was selling at the right times. Redeem, approve. A lot of these aren't hex stakes too. He's got some Dodo coin. There's a 51 ETH transaction in here, 501 ETH transaction in here. Wow. Oh, did this one not go through? Aaron. Okay, so it didn't go through. Anyway, just a normal hex.
Cool. So it could be interesting, right? Could be
Yeah.
interesting to buy a coin and just perpetually receive Pulse. Sounds like an interesting proposition if you're bullish on Pulse. Could be interesting to have a token with very limited supply that it also 1/3 is bought and burned. It just not all of it's clear, right? One side it says $15 and then this gets added in. On the other side it says $20 and this gets added in. Which one is it? On one side it says all profits are paid out, and the other side it says 90% of the profits are paid out. Which one is it? I don't give a shit if you're making 10%.
And what do we
fucking
know?
honest.
What do we know from reading these over? And everything that's confusing is a way for them to make money. It's like almost. It's just you read the Celsius contract and just put hindsight behind it, and then think about what happened, right? And think about the millions and millions of people that got fucking robbed. Probably want to kill themselves. No joke. No jokes. Zero jokes. If I lost that much money, I would be very, very in bad shape because there's business at that level of money. You're talking about your businesses, you're talking about your families, and not everyone's in the bad situation, but most people are. Let's be honest. I know people with millions of dollars that are still in turmoil if something were to happen, because when you're working with that kind of money, you're leveraged with that kind of money too, generally, because it takes a while to get to that level. But this has been a great show, like we kind of got to talk about whatever we wanted, which was great. We talked about something that was super important, in my opinion, in the beginning with the token of the base token. And we're going to have Gold Key on here. Guys, real quick, this is big. Sam, this is big for you too. This is big for me too.
This is going to be good. You're going to pull this up, and this is going to be dope. If you guys are enjoying the show, if you enjoyed the show, make sure you take a second. There's a little button with a thumbs up. Just smash that. Just take your nose and tap that. And then press the subscribe button, which is a red button if you haven't already pressed it. Then there's a little bell icon. Press the bell icon so you'll get notified next time that we pull up a video, coming live every day at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, the Pulse Pot video. I did a deep dive on that one, about 20 minutes long, pre-filmed, will be out after this video finishes, so you can check that out on my channel. But let's go into what you were going to talk about.
So for tomorrow, guys, I'm going to post this link right now. If you're going to be here tomorrow, jump over there and throw biceps all over that chat. And we're excited about tomorrow. Me and Sam are really going to get our Monday morning brains on tomorrow morning and really dig in. I'm going to read the white paper over a couple times. Jesse he went into the talk spaces, Twitter spaces, and he mentioned that he is a part of Power City, and we're really excited to learn more about what's going on. And I'm excited. I'm excited for all this stuff because, one, it's good research, because Power City is much more open-ended would be the right word, I guess. But it is. It's just
you're right. You're correct.
It's more open-ended. I read it this morning again a little bit, cruised through it, and NFT platforms. So this is different. So we got to have our open-minded caps on too tomorrow, though. Because we can't get all, and I'll get the same way. I'll be like, this doesn't fit in a bear market, but it doesn't matter because we haven't extrapolated enough data. What do we talk about? What if these guys are smart enough to understand the the technology curve, and they just know if we just stick and stay and hold, then we are going to be mooning at some point. And people want their shit to moon. I'm sure the Power City guys would love if their reputations were fucking elite. Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I would. If I had something, I would want it. So guys, come over here, slap some biceps in the chat, smash the like, but smash the like on this button. I mean, on this episode first, guys, because let's check the like count. Let's see where we're at. We're at 69 likes. What a beautiful number. Guys, keep that number, actually. No likes hidden. Just make sure you're here tomorrow. We are going to have a banger. And then we're having Gold Key on later in the week. We're going to have 5 shows. I'm going to make it my duty to have 5 absolute bangers in a row this week. We're not playing games anymore. I'll come on twice a day if I can get a good guest on. And I'm going to try to make my first actual video, which has been very hard for me because I just sit down and do something different. Sometimes hard. It's just like, I'm so used to doing this one thing. But guys, all the links are below. There's an Etherscans address below if you want to donate. There's Twitter, Instagram, share button, like button. All of that stuff helps a lot. It really, really does to keep this show going and keep me being able to focus on this stuff because that's what I want to focus on. But Sam, any closing words before we go?
Jump down below to Twitter. Say what's good over on Twitter. Trying to grow Twitter. Actually, have a contest going right now with Motley. He thinks that I cannot beat his Twitter following by the end of this coming month. The only way I see that happening is with your help. So if you want to help, if you enjoy the content, you enjoy Twitter, jump over to Twitter. I just shared the link and say what's good. And if you like DeFi proof, we have some of that coming up right now. Let's get a flex off and get out of here, bro. I hope everybody has an amazing rest of their Sunday. If you're a father, kudos, amazing, great and awesome day. Peace.
You already know what time it is.
Crypt in the morning.
Crypt in the morning.
Crypt in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypt in the morning. Crypt in the morning.
Ready to take notes.
Crypt in the morning.
Crypt in the morning.
Crypt in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypt in the morning. Crypt in the morning.
Ready to take notes.
Smoking a blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hacks and I'm making a stay. Got me some hedge on, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that's just in case. Jim Reddit sent me to show you the way.
DeFi proof.
Crypt in the morning.